Hello again, YouTube. I'm going to show you how to make one of the best compact paintball marker stands. These things are kind of come in pretty handy when you're out there running tournaments and you're limited on space and all that stuff. So, you can go out there and buy some, no doubt. This is just what I've come up with some of the other designs that I've seen out there and what's actually worked for me. So what I like for this is that it can fold down flat. You throw it in your gear bag. It doesn't take up a whole lot of room. You can clip it through a shoulder strap if you wanted to, and you're good to go. And then when you're ready to use it, you can always interchange these things. They just kind of flip up on there. And foam's not really necessary, but you could take your marker and it just sits right on in there. And really you can adjust your tension if you want, if you're worried about this thing flopping over. And it's really not going to go anywhere at all. So works out pretty good. Granted, you can always chain these things together, but then you have a little bit more room to contend with. So what I've gone and done is show you guys the specs on this thing here. Is if you want to leave it permanently up position, you can glue all your fittings down, but I chose to make sure this thing can collapse, which kind of makes sense. What you're going to need here, this will be your spec sheet, is I cut all the fitting connections are at 3/4 inch, but instead of cutting them at 1.5 inches, I see that they're better to cut them at 1 3/8. That way you get rid of these gaps between here. So just having a little bit of 1/8 of an inch to work with will get rid of all your gaps. And then my lower pieces that I run over here will be set at 7 inches. You're going to need 2 of those, 7 inches. And then again at the top, because you don't want to contend with something a little bit off, I cut the upper ones at 6 3/4. So the other upper ones that have the foam inside there, 6 3/4. So it gives you 1 inch of play on each side over here. So you can run these. And it's up to you if you want to glue all that stuff down as well. Usually it makes a little bit easier to go with that. So what you're going to need is, of the 1 3/8, you need 10 of these things cut. There'll be 5 per side. For your adapters here, you need 1 here, here, 1 in the middle, and then same on each side over there. You'll need tees, 90-degree tees. You'll need 4 of those. I'm sorry, tees, you'll need 8 tees and 4 90-degree connections. I'm using schedule 40 1/2-inch pipe. It's rigid enough. I don't see the need for 3/4. And then same thing with the insulation over here. This is a 1/2-inch insulation that you usually see for AC units or water pipe or something like that. But this stuff is like a foam sleeve of this, like 30 cents at Lowe's. So not really required. It's just kind of pads the gun. What I was seeing over here while I put them down here at the bottom is that it kind of digs in a little bit with your tank and it starts messing up your paint job over there. So if you want to just get some bike tape or hockey tape or something like that, you could definitely tape the bottom where you're going to have contact if you're trying to preserve the paint job. But the foam it's nice. It's going to take up a little bit more room in the gear bag. And to be honest with you, if you didn't run the foam, if you can see how these things work here, if I didn't have the foam on, I could actually put all these things together. And without the foam, I would have enough space to house the markers in between. So you can get a marker in here. And if you didn't have the foam, you can also fit another marker in here and another marker in there. So 3 sets of these things, you would be in business for a 5-man team real quick. And then obviously if it was something you're serious about, you can do opposing tanks, or you can set them all up in alignment together. It's all the same how you get them adjusted. And then obviously if you wanted to put an adapter in there, you could easily run these things down or glue them together and have a full set rack. But from my experience here, these things are great because they compact down. Even with the hopper on and all that stuff, you throw them in, and you don't really need to have any kind of foot extensions. It's not going to tip over. It's not going anywhere at all. So it makes it easy for loading up your hopper and stuff like that, and then getting some of the clutter off of a table down in a paddock. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I see a lot of different models out there. Ones with barrel supports and all the other stuff. And if you could see again on mine that the T's are butted up together trying to keep the spacing out and all that stuff. I think it looks a little bit cleaner when you get them like that. And that's a 170R, so they're not dealing with macro lines and stuff like that. I mean, everything's a little bit different, but the flexibility of being able to adjust the sides makes the difference. So if you've got like what you'll see here is with an Ego, this is an 08 Ego with macro line, you know, you might not be able to fit it straight on in because of your macro line hitting, but you know, when you're dealing with the adjustable legs, if you don't glue them in, then you can contend with stuff like that and dealing with the macro line, but it'll work just the same. I mean, all the ones that I've seen out there, that this setup works pretty dang good. And you can adjust how tight it stuff you want it to want. If you don't want it to wobble around and all that, then good to go. You just yank it on out, set up. All right, hopefully you enjoyed the video.